Hi guys, and welcome along to my little studio this afternoon. I thought we'd turn the camera on and make some tassel necklaces. So they're going to look a little bit like this one. So this one's made out of black stripe agate. It's absolutely beautiful because you get some textures through there without it just being a basic black bead. And then there's a black tassel on the end. So the necklaces are roughly around about the 80 centimeter mark, which are nice and long. So you don't want them too short because you want to feature the tassel. So the one we're going to make today, we're actually going to make two today. The obsidian one with the grey tassel, isn't that stunning? Look at that. We're going to make from scratch, and then I've got another olive Taiwan jade one that I've got the beads threaded. I'm just going to finish it off, finish the tassel and the endings off, just so you get to see me do the endings twice. Okay, so I've sort of tried to master, because dark beads are a nightmare to thread. So I'm going to try and thread it off the line. See how we go with that. And it's also saves a lot of time too, rather than picking up one bead and threading it through that way. You can get beading needles. I've never had too much success with those, but I find this way, I'm not sure with the line, sometimes if you get a nice stiff line you can do it and thread it through. So the wire I'm using here is a beading wire, a jewellery stringing wire. So more commonly known as tiger tail is one brand that I use. And it's nice and flexible because you don't want a stiff necklace, but you want something with a bit of strength that, you know, the last thing you want is your necklace breaking on you and beads going everywhere. So the line here is a bit harder, but anyway, we'll get this done as quick as possible. With these long tassel necklaces, you do need 3 strands of beads. Now you don't quite use the whole 3 strands, you do have a little bit left over, and of course you can make them shorter if you wish, if you just want to go with the 2 strands. But I actually like the longer necklaces. This bead, the size of this bead here I'm using is an 8mm. I actually like the 8mm, and I have also made them in the 10mm. If you're curvaceous like myself and like a bigger bead that doesn't get lost on you, then go with the 8mm or the 10mm. The olive Taiwan jade one that I'm going to make, I'm making it out of 6mm, so you'll get to see the difference in the 2 sizes. And the beauty of a tassel necklace is you can dress it up or dress it down. If you've got jeans and a t-shirt on, throw a tassel necklace on for a casual look, or if you're going out with the evening wear too, especially with this beautiful grey one that we're making. You'll be able to also jazz it up with that. The weather today, we woke up with it raining. It has cleared now, but it was just so nice hearing the rain on the roof. We really do need it at the moment. Then in our area, so I'm in Australia, in our area we have over the last couple of years had some horrific flooding. So, you know, when it does start raining, we sort of all wish that, you know, it knows when to stop. Certain times of the year. This is a beautiful bead, this obsidian. So it's grey and black. So you could also team it with the black tassel as well. It sort of depends on what you want to highlight. Do you want to highlight the bead? Do you want to highlight the tassel? And I like the combination of this one. It's such a beautiful tassel. You could even team it with some silver beads or light grey beads, dark grey beads, crystal beads. I just love jewellery. You can wear a couple of different pieces of jewellery on the one outfit and it will look completely different every time. I do have a bit of a kink on the end of my wire, so I'm just going to straighten it off. It's causing me a few problems. You can see that being a mottly bead like that, it is hard to find the holes sometimes. Also with the black is extremely hard, and I don't know whether it's because of the colour of the bead or it's just my eyesight. Definitely need the glasses on when you're threading these. I haven't invested in one of those jewellery helpers with the magnifying glass yet, but I have looked at them. Sometimes things like that, while they can assist you, they can sort of hinder you as well as just having another thing on your desk. Okay, so that's the one strand done. We'll just pull a few off an additional strand. Should be doing that on the white for you so you can see. Hear the birds chirping outside. It's just a beautiful time of year. Although I've had a virus the last few days, so I've been coughing all night. But through the day I'm not too bad. So we'll see how we go with all the talking. Okay, so when you've got half the beads on, or you think you've got half the beads on, so you can always add or take away a bit later on before we put the ends on. So we're going to put a bail on. Now a bail is a round, or sometimes they're not round, but it's actually got the little bit that hangs off the end. So if we put that, thread that through, it becomes like a bead feature, but then it's got a little loop down there that we can attach the tassel to. So we'd put a jump ring in there and attach the tassel, which I'll show you a bit later on. But we put that at halfway. So that definitely needs to go on, otherwise you'll find yourself having to take half your beads off and redo it. And I have done that quite a fair bit myself. It's a good idea also to have something clamping the end, or you can tie it in a big loop and a knot, just so your beads don't come off the other end as we fill it up and pull on it to do this other side. So we're just going to do the second strand. couple of escapees. I do usually work on just the mat or on a board, but just having the mat, it may not have been clear enough for you to see what we're doing, so I've gone with a white background, and for safety purposes, so my beads don't fly everywhere, I've just got the mat off to the side there. But they're good, those felt mats, because you can have a heap of beads on your desk and they're not going to roll anywhere. It's a bit of a running joke in our house. Whenever you drop a bead on the floor, because they bounce a few times, my husband calls out, "You dropped something?" So it's just become a... So as soon as I drop a bead, I know that the comment's coming. Or the next day you'll hear them being sucked up in the vacuum cleaner, the ones that you've missed. So it is usually better to come over to the studio to work on these, to keep it all in one area and not not through the house. But then sometimes of a night, if you're threading beads, you can do it in front of TV where you've just got that background noise on, or you know, you can sit and watch a YouTube and just have that background on while you're concentrating or threading your beads. I will put a list of supplies down the bottom of what I've used today, and a link through where you can purchase these from. I do have them in my shop, and I am looking to perhaps do up some kits in the future. Of course, if you would like a kit done up, just message me. If you like one of these in particular, or you want to design your own and have a combination. So if you're just starting out and you don't have a lot in jewellery supplies, a kit's probably a cheaper way for you to go. You will need some very basic jewellery tools, and I'll show you what they are that I'm using today. Then we'll just put the rest of this part strand on, and then we'll put some clasps and ends on, and then attach our tassel. So I work a lot with gemstones, and I am loving acrylic beads at the moment. They're so lightweight and you can really get some beautiful beads, and they're less expensive than the gemstones. So it's good to have a combination of both. Especially as people get older, they don't like a lot of weight around their neck. So while the gemstones are gorgeous, sometimes the acrylic beads are a better match for, you know, if it's an elderly lady that you're making something for. So what I do then is, because you can't always, unless you count them beforehand, you can't always just assume that your strands are of equal size. So I just sort of put them together like that and do a quick measure. And it looks right. So now we're going to put one of the sides of the toggle clasp on. So we first put a crimp bead on, So it's a crimp bead that's going to actually be the stop that holds everything in place. So just choose one side of your toggle clasps, thread it through, then I've folded over, I need to bring that up, put it through the crimp bead. Now, because this is the first side, we don't need to thread it through any beads or anything, but we do need to make sure that our wire is not crossed, like that. And then we get our crimp tool, and we go to the, so you'll see it's got two. I'm going to the middle one here, and then I'll go to the flat one to flatten it out, and then I'll turn it and go to the end one to fold it over. So I'll show you each step as we go. So that's it flattened out. Then I'll squash it again. So that just embeds it around the wire, as you can see. And then I'll come up underneath. And then that pushes it together. So it's secured now. And then we get, I like to use my tools with these crimp covers. And then just put it through like that. And then we're squashing it together, and we're just maneuvering the tool around. So it actually makes it look like a bead, and it tidies the end off. So it looks like a little bead that we've got on there now. I like to cut a little bit off. It's entirely up to you. You don't have to have too much wire hanging out there. And then you just cover it over. You thread it through the beads. Then I just hold it there. You pick up your other end, and then you push the beads through. So if you lay that down, you can see that all the beads, because this last one we actually will have the beads up close to what we're doing. So I will show you. I'll just cut a bit of wire off there. I've got a bit overexcited with the length of the wire. So we pick up our crimp bead again. And then the other side of the toggle, fold it around, bring it through the crimp bead. Now this time we're going to, I usually pick 3 beads. So we're going to bring 3 beads up, and we're going to thread that through. And then we're going to hold this end, and then we're going to pull on the wire to get it up. Now you don't want it too tight, because we've got to work with that crimp and a crimp cover, but you still want it fairly close. So you make sure that everything is pulled down and against the first one we did. And now we get our, just hold it out like that. We get our crimp tool, and we do the same step. So the middle one, like that, and then the flat one, and then we turn it until we've got it in a ball, and then we get our crimp cover. You don't have to use crimp covers. I actually like them because it finishes it off and makes it all neat and tidy, but I do know some people don't use them. You just hold it against your finger like that and close it. Round it off, and then we get our wire cutters, and you go in as close as you can. So the flush cutters are probably better to use. You can really get in there. Excuse me. So that's our end done up, neat and tidy. If we go back to the middle now, we've got our bail here waiting to have the tassel put on there. So with this we will need a jump ring. So a jump ring, an unsoldered jump ring. So unsoldered, you can see that there's a split. There's a split in it. And then for this, I use two sets of pliers, and I'll show you if you don't have two. So first of all, we've got two, so we hold one securely there, we hold one there, and we twist it to the side. So one that's not going to wreck your ring, it's not going to weaken your ring. And then we close it, it'll be closed back again like that, and you should hear a little click that it will be flush against itself. Now this one probably is a little bit big. Might need a thinner one. See if this small one's a thinner one. So once again with the tools to the side. Just through our bail. This is why the tools come in handy, because you can get in there. You can use chain nose pliers as well. And back. You can see that it's even there. I also then, if I can get to it, it's a small one, this one. Close that up a little bit. And there's our beautiful obsidian grey tassel necklace. So I'm going to make one more with you today, guys, and I'll pull the three out at the end for you to have a look at, because they are absolutely stunning. This one is a olive Taiwan jade bead, and it's the 6mm. As you can see, the 6 and the 8, so the 6 is a little bit smaller, and then we've got a beautiful olive tassel there as well. So I've done the bail, I've threaded the beads, we've only got to do the ends just to show you again. Bring our toggles over, our crimp covers, our crimp beads, and our jump ring. So we go through the crimp bead, we pick one side of the toggle clasp, down through the crimp bead, pull it up near the bead, make sure that your wire is not crossed. If your wire is crossed, it may not secure because the wire's overlapped, so it may interfere with how secure your crimp bead gets. It's smushed around the wire. So we use the middle one to flatten it out like that, and then we go to the end, which is a flatter one, and then we turn it and use that first one, and then we go for our crimp cover. You can see the wires aren't crossed and it's nice and secure. Now crimp cover, we just close it softly around. So so it becomes a little faux bead. I cut it down to roughly about a 3 bead width. This one will probably be 4 because they're smaller beads. We just thread that through. And then we pick up the other side and we pull our beads through. And then we follow the process again, which is the crimp bead. The other side of the toggle, up and through, and then through the crimp bead again. Now this step, because this is the finishing side, we have to pull our beads through before we crimp it off. And up to you how long you want to have this. I'm going to snip it off there. When you cut it like that, have a little tail hanging out so it will go over the next bead, just so it sort of finishes halfway through the bead. So you don't want it working out and being annoying. So I missed a step, so pull that now. Pull that up. Up so you've got all the beads. Just work your beads down to make sure that there's no big gap at the end, and then crimp off your crimp. And turn it, finish it off there, put your crimp cover over the top. I always find the last side a little bit more fiddly. Excuse me, my voice has gone croaky. I hope I don't start coughing on you guys. Oh, might have to do this one. Try and do it with my fingers. There's always one problem child, isn't there? Beautiful. And then squash him gently. Sometimes they go off a little bit off center, but you can usually manipulate them back. Have patience with doing this rather than one big squish, because you may not get a bead looking crimp at the end of it if you're too heavy-handed with it. And then your flush cutters in as close as you can get. Please make sure you only have the one wire there and not two. Otherwise you'll be restringing it. Okay, so now all that's left to do is to put the tassel on. So we go to our unsoldered jump ring again. I think this one is a 10mm one, but I actually like the thicker wires on these. I find the thinner ones, they can come undone. And these ones are strong, so you need a bit of muscle. So you turn it to the side, thread it through your bail. And you would have heard a little click. So you can see that it's fully together. And there's no, so nothing can get out of it. Okay guys, so that's the 3 tassel necklaces. I'm just going to pull my beading mat away there so you can see them on the white. Absolutely beautiful. We've got the, like I said, the black stripe agate there with the black tassel. We've got the obsidian bead there, beautiful, with the grey crystal tassel. And then we've got the olive Taiwan jade with an olive tassel there. Just absolutely beautiful. And you know, you could go a black bead with the olive. You could go a black bead with the grey. You could go the grey bead with the black tassel. Just so excuse me, so many combinations, but have a go at them. They are a really good necklace to have in your accessories stash, to just throw on and wear, like I said, whether it's casual, you're going out for lunch with the girls, or you're going out for dinner. They're just easy to wear and they go with everything. Thanks guys, and I look forward to talking to you on the next video. Have a great day. Bye.